Hey, what's going on, Freedomers? All right, so a balanced life part two. I had to come to the thorough understanding as I was like it's called because Robert Greene calls it the indiscriminate giver in the 48 Laws of Power, and that means a person who gives without discernment and without sense of value. So I had to think to myself this morning, like when I woke up this morning, that I give not only too indiscriminately, but I also give very emotionally. And I think he highlighted that in the book as well. But he was like, but I understand now. Like I need to be more logical about how I give to people. I've realized that I'm too emotional about it. Like I'm a person who's like to say, give me tick for tat. Don't stop giving to me when you feel like it, because I don't do that. I don't want friends in my life anymore or relationships where you give when you feel like it, when it benefits you, if you can, when you can. And I said, I don't do that. In a sense of saying, in a sense of saying, like, I'm a very, like, disciplined, routine person, right? So I thought to myself, you need to be more logical about your giving. Like, again, see it like a bank account. If you're the bank, because the bank don't even give from an emotional place. And what does that mean? That means that if the bank only see you put $35 in the bank account for it not to cut off, or you only put, let's say, $100 in the account to keep it there, and you only do the bare minimum for it to not cut off, they're not gonna loan you a credit card. Like I'm not saying they won't, but they're not checking for you. Like, yo, we need to loan him some money. You feel me? Like I've heard that when you start stacking in your bank account, and you do a lot of transfer, you do a lot of wire transfers, that's big money, they see you. So they want to offer you more because you're a good customer to them, right? But if your account's in the negative, you keeping the bare minimum to keep it alive, they're not going to give you more because you have money coming in. You know what I'm saying? Because you put the bare minimum in that shit. I had to learn, like, I had to stop being so emotional about how I give to people. And what that means is, if I see an idea, if I'm a person who, if I see something and I think about you, I share it with you. And I know and especially if I know it can benefit you, I share it with you immediately. And I realized that no matter how large of a giver I've manifested, they don't really be that way. Like, I've learned that they give when it's suitable to them. And I'm not saying I've met some great givers, but I'm like, and that's why my universe is balancing out finally. I commanded it, but I like, from my old way of thinking and being, I had to think to myself, if you wake up in the morning just to take my energy or whatever, and I've had that in the morning too, where they just wake up to ask me questions and ask me for insight and all this other stuff, and I said, that's taking more than they were giving. I had to realize, like, I had to be more logical. Like, because remember, Libra is a air sign. It's logical. So when you think logically and you say, wait a minute, they're giving more than they're receiving. And this is add on to yesterday. They're depositing more than this. They're withdrawing more than they're depositing. And you realize, like, when I say withdrawing, I mean like they're taking. They're getting a loan. And that's, as I think about it, like, on some, be more logical about your giving. Like, stop being so emotional. Because especially if you can't write that shit off, if you can't, that don't get you paid. That don't put money in your bank account. Because Libra starts being materialistic. That don't put you giving that person your time and your energy is not paying you. So when you think about it, you could even classify it as you wasting time. You wasting time because that person is you giving to that person and you're not receiving shit. You may receive a nugget or two or three. I'm not saying because if you're with a powerful person, of course you always learn things. But it's like, yo, when you think of it in the grand scheme of things, are you getting paid for that conversation? No? Okay. So I had to really give from a logical standpoint. No emotions and start and even though that's in balance, but give from both, of course, with a balance, logic and emotion. But when you balance out your emotional equilibrium, you're like, yo, wait a minute. And you know how you do that? You know how you do that? And this is what I learned yesterday too. You know how you do that? You see how you feel. So this is about to get real deep. Ajna says something that, and I have it downloaded on my phone, about not being for sale. And when she declines money offers, about when she declines money on the table, opportunities, and she says, and people ask, why did you do that? Because it didn't feel good. And that's the point that I'm alluding to. I've realized that it doesn't feel good if I'm giving to a certain degree. Like, I've realized that it makes my throat hurt. It makes my chest hurt. It makes my body starts reacting because it's like, yo, I'm giving when I'm not supposed to. When I'm supposed to be setting boundaries and that white light, yes. I'm giving when I'm not supposed to. You feel me? And I had to really check myself because you remember, like, what you ignore, your body sometimes give you that. That's another flag, red flag. Your body will say, "Hey," So, so I had to think to myself and understand, like, I had to give logically. Like, if you don't see them reaching out to you the way you reach out to them, you need to stop. That ain't about them. That's about you. If you see them not trying to initiate love like you initiate love, and everybody loves differently. You feel me? But if you don't see them trying to initiate love the way you think they should and the way you see they should, maybe you need to stop. If you and I'm demanding, okay? I ain't gonna hold you. I'm that demanding friend. If you see, I'm just sharing my pain from what I've learned over the years. Like, if you see somebody only giving you, like I said earlier, this is the last point, give you the bare necessities to keep the account alive, maybe you need to close the account. Or find a place where if you overflow, that shit gonna come back to you 10 to 100-fold. You get all type of offers now. Because sometimes when you're in a relationship per se, or a circumstance, or a business that's only giving you the bare minimum, sometimes that's That's so deep. That makes me tear up. Sometimes when you're in a relationship that's giving you a bare minimum and you stay with it, you're blocking the blessing of the relationship that could give you complete abundance and overflow. I'm gonna end that on that. So go to bit.ly slash wow. Go to bit.ly slash astrology forum, and astrology forum in all caps. Whew. Wow. That last line though, let me say that one more time. If you are in a relationship or a circumstance that's always giving you the bare minimum to keep that relationship alive, it is stopping you from the relationship or the circumstance or the situation or the business or the opportunity that can give you divine overflow and abundance.